All right, hello there and welcome to today's workout. Today we're going to have 7 exercises that we're going to do. We've been doing 8 normally, but we're going to break it down into 3 rounds again. The first round will have 2 exercises. The flat band shoulder absorption, the shoulder internal external rotations. So the flat band shoulder absorption is something fairly new. We'll use a flat band. We're going to incorporate a new movement there, and we're going to do 3 sets of each of those. And then we move into round 2 where we do the tricep extension with the loop band, clock lunges, which we're familiar with, and our anchored overhead shoulder extension. All right, and then we will move into round 3 with our face down dorsal extension and then our anchored hip flexion bridge. So we're going to be posing in a bridge position and using the resistance band to flex the hip. So I'm going to be demonstrating each and then providing commentary. So we'll go ahead and gear up here and get ourselves ready for round number 1. We've got the first 2 exercises, and I really want to focus today, as you saw from the prescription card, this is about joint stability, all right? So I removed one of the exercises, the number of exercises, so that we could focus on specifically our shoulder and hip joints, okay? And this should be a day where we're focusing on technique, our posture, and doing the exercises correctly, okay? So I'm going to start out with a band, and my hands are going to be shoulder width apart. There's going to be some tension on the band, and I'm simply going to pull to the rear, and I'm going to be pinching my shoulder blades together, all right? So this is a scapula or shoulder blade retraction. This is a back muscle. All right, and we are pulling straight back. Once I get this movement down, I'm going to start incorporating a full range of motion where when I bring the flat band back together like that, and I'll turn back around here, but when I bring the resistance band back together, I'm immediately stopping the momentum forward and then bringing it back to the rear again, okay? So you see me bring it forward, coming up here. So we'll start from the forward position with some basic tension on the bands. I'm going over the number of repetitions here, that's okay. All right, now we're pulling. And as I bring it back, I'm not pausing. I'm going straight back out, and I'm pulling straight back out, okay? So I'm stopping that momentum coming back forward. And that's what the gist of this exercise actually is. Yes, we're retracting the scapula, but we're also using muscles to stop the momentum of the resistance band. So there's a force on us. For example, if somebody were to throw you a heavy, like a bowling ball or a medicine ball that weighs 10 pounds or something, you have to brace for it, and actually your muscles will retract. Like the force of, the heavy object creates this momentum, and then your muscles have to stop it. And that's what this is. Notice I've got a lot of tension, and then I'm reducing the tension. I increase the tension. Oh, I kind of messed that one up there. And then reduce the tension. Create, maneuver, reduce. Create, maneuver, reduce. Create, maneuver, reduce. That's kind of confusing. If you need to go back over it and watch it again, it's very easy to emulate. And we're just strengthening the shoulders. And so we're going to drop the flat band and pick up our 2 band. It's going to be anchored basically pec height or chest height. All right, we want to keep that left elbow as close to the side as possible. Notice mine's kind of flared out a tiny bit, and we'll want to minimize that, right? And we're doing an external rotation. So we're rotating the rotator cuff out. And now I've switched arms, and I'm doing an internal right arm rotation. And that's just for instructional purposes. You can do them in any order. But we want to ensure that we keep the same amount of resistance as much as possible, which means the distance that we start from should be the same every time. right, we're breathing out for every repetition, okay? Breathing out, breathing in. Breathing out, breathing in. That's the same with any kind of concentric contraction where we are contracting the muscles. We want to breathe out, right? This helps us regulate our blood pressure as well. All right, so I've switched, and I'm currently doing an external rotation of the right arm. I just did an internal with the right arm. Now I'm doing an external. At this particular time, your arm's probably going to be a little fatigued. Don't worry, we've got 2 more sets after this. And this is why I only did 2 exercises for round 1. I really wanted to hit the shoulders and focus hard on those. So the internal and external shoulder rotation are a little time consuming as well. So we want to be patient with these exercises, especially this one. This one's crucial, and you may not thank me right now. You'll thank me a couple months from now, or 6 months, or 3 or 4 years from now. This is something that we should be doing 2 or 3 days a week with our shoulders. We've got to strengthen the shoulder joints. They become very, very unstable over time. All right, so this is where we would go right back with a short break and conduct our second and third sets. All right, and so we finished sets 2 and 3 for round 1, and we get our gear ready, set up for round number 2. All right, so I've got my tube band with the handles on both sides, and I'm going to do a single anchor, okay? And we're going to anchor it about knee height and get that ready. And now we have our loop band. So the loop band is going to be used for tricep extensions to begin. We set our gear up, and now we pick up our loop band and get ready for tricep extension. This is one way that you can do the extension. This is one angle. I don't prefer this angle personally, but depending on your mobility, your range of motion, and your shoulder, you can maneuver behind or above your head. You can do a number of things, okay? I like to go above my head. I believe it makes it more challenging, and I'm able to do it. I have a lot of mobility in my shoulders. And I'm just showing how we can anchor the band behind our backs and hooking that loop band in our thumbs. All right. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing out. Nice and easy. And you can slow the repetitions down. This increases the time under tension. We want to be controlled. All right, so I'll go ahead and show really quickly one angle. I do enjoy this angle, but I prefer the other again. So I'll do minimal repetitions from here. But it's a slow, steady movement, right? This helps increase the number of push-ups one can do, okay? We're working the tricep. The tricep extends during elbow extension. And an elbow extension is a crucial part of a push-up. So when we work on our pecs and we work on our triceps and our deltoids, those muscles help increase the number of push-ups that we do, okay? All right, so we finished with exercise number 3, and we moved to number 4, the clock lunge. We know what's up with these. We're moving diagonally to the side, back diagonal. Boom, there you go. Stay squared away with that chest. Just like so, stay squared away. And there's one rotation. Diagonal, stay squared, good job. We don't want those knees to be flaring out. I thought I recognized mine flaring out there. We don't want to do that, right? Right there, boom. We don't want it to flare out. We want to make sure that our shins are perpendicular to the ground. Right. And right there, good job. I went really deep on that one. And then for the fourth rotation, I like to go backwards. Don't let me throw you off. Don't let me throw you off. Go do your own thing. You can do the rotations any way you want. As long as we get the repetitions done, that's all that counts. We've got hip flexion, hip extension, knee flexion, knee extension, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion of the ankle. Okay, it's that's a really great exercise. I highly recommend it. It definitely increases your range of motion. It increases your mobility. It increases your strength. Now, moving on here. We already pre-anchored our resistance band, right? Now this is a double anchor. Notice I've got a handle in each hand, and at the beginning of the exercise I was pointing at my abdominal area. All right, that's because right here we need to be pressing down with our abdominals, our backs into the ground, okay, and then contracting, and then releasing, and then contracting. Notice I'm contracting my abdominals. If you notice, right, I'm releasing, and then watch me contract right there. And then I do my extension. And then I reset, and watch me engage the core again. Boom, right there. And then go. So I'm taking my navel, and I'm pressing it into the ground. I'm engaging my abdominal area. This is a really good core exercise. And then we'll do sets 2 and 3. And once we have that finished, then we can move into round 3. All right, so we've got our resistance band in a single anchor, right? And we're gonna go just above the knee. So that's set up, and we go straight into exercise number 6. Turn the hat backwards there, and we're gonna do a dorsal extension. All right, we're extending the legs, we're extending the hips, we're extending the vertebrae. Let's wake these muscles up. This would be something that you could probably do at the beginning of the workout too. All right, we'll keep our knees or our legs relatively straight, back straight, and we extend, and we can breathe out when we extend, just like any other contraction. All right, now we have our Velcro ring that's attached to the other end of that resistance band, and we're just going to attach it to our ankle. All right, now notice that I've got my left knee bent at about, well, it's probably in between 80 and 90 degrees, okay? We want it to be in between there. And the rest of my body's straight. Notice I'm touching the area where the hip muscles are engaged. We're talking about hip extenders, the glutes, the piriformis, the hamstrings are engaged. All right, we're engaging our backs, so we just did dorsal extension, so we are just reinforcing some of those other muscles again. So we're going to fatigue the muscles that we just worked, and we're going to switch legs here. We've done 12 reps each leg. That's the prescription. So we're going to set up our equipment and try to get going. Now, normally, since this does take some time to set the equipment up and to switch, normally what I like to do in that instance is increase the number of repetitions. All right. If I'm taking longer breaks, then I've got to increase the number of reps, the number of time I'm under tension. All right, now we want to maintain that bridge. We don't want to slack on the bridge. We want to keep that right leg. You see the upper part of the leg, how it's in line with my abdominal area. It's almost like a straight line. We want to focus on that. And that's the second exercise in round number 3. So we'll just repeat those final 2 exercises for round 3, and that finishes it up. Great exercise today. Way to take care of those joints.